Our next problem-solving tip is make a guess. This one I think can seem kind of strange, but it's amazing how well it can work sometimes. So we did this a little bit in Module 2. We saw that sometimes it helps to try a number and see how it works. And all we mean by that is pick a number as if it were the answer to the problem, and then see how you would check the answer to see if it was right. And this is actually the process I think I see a lot of you do when you try to work a problem without writing an equation. What you're doing is thinking through your head, how would I, in fact I've seen some of you actually do this where you try different numbers until you get the right answer. And that's a useful problem solving technique, but you want to be able to take it to the next step where you make it into an equation and not just make a lot of guesses, check them, and then when you finally hit on the right guess, you're done. That's not what we want you to do, but we do want you to use the process of making a guess to help you figure out what the equation is. So if you're the sort of person that's kind of impatient and you want to jump right in and try something to solve a problem, this might be a good tip for you. Remember, we do want you to finish up with actually writing an equation. But it tells you to make up an answer and jump right to the check your answer stage of our problem solving technique. So here's one that says, do not solve the following problem. Instead, use the information of the problem to apply the problem solving tip of make a guess. So it says Leah is buying a used car on a payment plan. She made a down payment of $490 and is now making monthly payments of $115. By the time she owns the car free and clear, she'll have paid a total of $3,250. How many monthly payments will she make? Now this is a great example of one that I think I would see a lot of you try to find the answer by guessing, which again is a good technique. We just want you to wind up translating that guessing into an equation. And the reason it's a good candidate for that is this is one where I think a lot of you have an inherent sense of how this problem works. You know how it works when you have a down payment and then you have monthly payments, and you know that your down payment and all the monthly payments together will add up to what you pay total at the end of that process. So that makes it a good candidate for this make a guess. So we're going to start out by making up an answer to the question. Remember, we're not trying to get the right answer. We just want a number to get us started. So we're going to make the guess that Leah will make 36 payments. So remember, what we're looking for here is how many monthly payments will she make. So that's how we know what we're guessing. We're not guessing the cost of the car or anything like that. We're guessing how many monthly payments she'll make because that's the thing we're looking for. And we're not thinking it's going to be 36 payments. We're not trying to really realistically pick that guess. So because remember, we're not trying to get the right answer. We're just trying to figure out the process we would use for checking the guess and have that help us make the equation. So then when we check this, again, I think a lot of you have an inherent sense of how this would work. So you know that what you're going to do when you want to check this is you're going to take your down payment and you're going to add it to 115 times 36 because it said the monthly payments were $115. So you know if I want to total up all my monthly payments, it'd be 115 times however many payments I took. And I'm making this guess of 36 payments, and then I want to see if it gets me to where I want because it asks how many monthly payments do we need to get to 3250. So when we do this, we're again, we're not really interested in whether this works, although you can feel free to calculate that out and see if it works. But that isn't helpful to us at this point because we're, again, not thinking 36 is the right answer. We're just checking, we're making the 36 get our intuition working so that we can say, well, the way I would check that answer is I'd multiply 115 times 36, and then I'd add 490, and that's how I would check it. And then you can take that guess that you took, the 36, and you can replace it with a letter, because remember, that's the thing we're trying to find, how many monthly payments she'll make. And so that was our guess, and so that's going to become our variable. So we're going to take the way we checked it, replace our guess with a variable, and get an equation that we can solve. So before we do that, we want to review what the problem-solving steps are. So, and in this set of things that we're doing, learning these tips, we're only doing these two. So we're going to define the variable and write an equation. Let's go back to this one. So we did our check up here of our guess, and we're going to work from that to make our equation. So we're going to replace the guess with our variable. So when we look back up in the original problem, the number that we're looking for is the payments. So P equals number of payments. So that was defining our variable. Now we look at our guess statement here, and we just rewrite it with the variable in the place of the guess. So we have 490 plus 115 times the guess. Remember, our guess is now P. And then we want to know when that's going to equal 3250. So we made a random guess. We're not concerned whether 36 is the right answer or not. We just made a random guess. We plugged it in here and said to ourselves, well, if it was 36, how do I check, see if my guess was right? We checked the guess, and then that allowed us to write an equation, and that's what we were shooting for. And you all know how to solve that equation once it's written.